about today is we're going to talk about 7 steps to creating original content week after week like a pro. This is what we do in my business for myself when we create content for clients and when I actually advise clients how to do it. One of the challenges I've seen people have is they don't know how is it that some people out there, you can see they create content like a pro over and over every week. Original content comes out and they don't know how do they do it. Well, number one, they probably have resource somewhere that can do it, but I'm going to share a very it's a top secret. It's an industry secret actually, how they do it and how we do it. So I'm going to share it with you, and I'm going to share my 7 steps that we do. You can add to your 7, you can take a step out if it's easier when you're starting out, but this 7 step, this is what we do. And we always start from the long form of content, which I'll show you why, because we don't want to get to the point of creating blog posts and then we have to create social media. It's just, sometimes we think we have to keep recreating. We don't have to. We start with a long form and then we repurpose that. And also we use content batching. So what we're going to talk about, I'm going to talk about the magical, let me stop the camera. So I'm going to talk about how the magical world of batching will eliminate content creation, stress, and overwhelm. It definitely helps. How to find the project in your business that are perfect for batching. You don't have to just use it for content creation. So I thought I'm going to take that opportunity and show you how you can do it, because the last thing we want is running out of time as a business owner. So now I'm going to go through the 7th step. To wonderful world of content creation bliss, and then we're going to go through some Q&A. I'm going to also share a resource which is 100 post ideas that you can absolutely use, that myself and my team have put together. I'll go through that as well with you very quickly. A quick background about me as to who I am. I currently own a social media marketing agency which we specialize service businesses, and I'm a digital solution advisor at Business Station. So one of the things I always tell people, we need to create original content. Gone those days that we could just share a link from someone else's blog post or share something from someone else who posted. We cannot do that. Us as a small business owners, we must create original content. And why is it important? It's because it builds your brand. It develops a trust and deeper relationship with your audience. You and your business become a trusted go-to source for your niche from a search engine optimization. So when you're creating blog posts, not only you can use it to build your audience and build your authority, you absolutely help Google and your SEO for your website. You figure out what is the topic of interest, for example, which product or services clients are interested, and you can talk about it more, which eventually they're going to decide to buy from you when they're ready. So you connect with your audiences at the early stages of the buyer's journey, because we have different stages as we buying a product or service. The later you connect with them, which is sort of, we call a low-hanging fruit, and the stage that they're ready to buy, usually the lead cost is more. But if you connect with them from the awareness level where they're looking for that product or service, if you are part of that journey right through the consideration, right to when they're ready to buy, and hopefully they buy from you, you have a lower lead cost. And this is very obviously important. And so much more when you're creating original content. So you must have a plan, to be honest. I like processes. I like to, because I've got such a creative mind. And as a business owner, a lot of us wear different hats. So I've got a creative mind, as well as when you run a business, you have to wear so many different hats. You wear a hat for the CEO hat all the way to the cleaner hat. So you have so much to think about. When it comes to your content, you always have to have a system, and that works for me. I must have a system in order for me to get to what I need to do in the processes. The reason that we need to have that is you can create content when you feel inspired or have time, rather than it's definitely having a system and plan helped me, and I can guarantee you it will help you. Is if you don't have a plan, you get stressed out and have no idea about what to create. And that's been the biggest challenge, is to we say, I don't know what to create, this is overwhelming. Inconsistent and reactive with content. We just cannot be inconsistent. Consistency is the key, and we cannot be reactive. We must be very intentional with the content we're creating. And what I've seen is, without the system, people post random content, something there is no intention, it has no relevance to your core content. So it's just so random. And that in turn confuses your audience. We cannot confuse our audience. The moment we confuse them, we lose them. So here we go. There is a better way to create consistent original content without the stress and overwhelm, and it's industry secret, and that's content batching. Every marketer does that. They say they don't. I don't know how they do it. They probably give it to someone else. Even the time they have to give it to someone else, they need to put that time aside. So what I mean by content batching, when you group a similar task, for example, in this case, obviously creating content, together to work on the same time without an interruption. You might batch writing your social media posts, for example. Every Monday, you might say, okay, every Monday I'm going to do 5 minutes, half a day aside, and I'm going to sit down and plan for my this week content. For example, I'm going to go through different tasks that you can do. Me doing this workshop, I had to put time aside, first of all, to create an outline. I'm going to go through my steps. I do exactly the same thing. I create an outline. I do topic research. I create an outline. And then at the end, we create all this pretty stuff. I'm not good at it anyway, making things pretty, because I like to get to the point. But everything you do, you can absolutely batch. So batching can save you time, it can save you stress and effort. Trust me, been there, done that, and this is the best thing to do. So benefits of content batching, guess what it does? It increases your focus. So it allows you to work on a specific task with a focus. When you're focused, it definitely helps you to create quality of work. That's absolutely for sure, because you focus effort while batching distracts. You eliminate distraction. You get rid of all the stuff that will create a distraction for you. But I have to admit though, so before we go any further, that always comes down to our own willpower, because it's easily we can say, because I set time for my content batching. I even set time for my networking and catch up, unless I'm invited to attend a network, I need to be speak, then I'll work around it. But I do my paperwork on Friday afternoon. I do my catch up on Friday afternoon. So it's always batched, because if I don't do it, if I don't have a system, it increases distraction, and it always comes down to willpower. Even when I do coaching, I do a certain day for the coaching. I don't just do it for any day. You can even do it for the meeting. I'm actually going to share so many places I've used this. I've started with the content, and I use it in so many places. So also, when I said it comes down to the willpower, no task or context switching. We cannot mix up tasks, because it will take away from our focus. And I've heard, I think it takes about 20 minutes or 30 minutes in order for us to get back to do what we have to do. So we do not want to change tasks or context. We absolutely don't want to do that, because then it defeats the purpose anyway. Next one, it definitely increases your productivity, because you and I, we all know, we run out of time. It's just because before you know it, have you had one of those days, before you know it, you think, what happened to today? And I haven't done this and I haven't done that. So this will definitely increases your productivity. It allows you white space in your mind. We need, our mind need that white space, at that empty time, and that clear schedule, in order for us to be more creative, in order for us to work on our business rather than in our business all the time. And it definitely, when you are doing the same thing over and over and over, and you sit in front of it, it takes the creativity away from you. And we don't want that. And as a business owner, so I always tell people, when you're working for someone else, Everything is prepared for you. All they expect you to do is just turn up to the office, workplace of your work, and just work. Even your toilet paper, ordering your toilet paper has been thought of. But when it comes to the business owners, there's so much we need to think about, as well as looking after our customers to make sure they get the best customer service. Like for me, when I do a strategy session all the time, obviously it has increased when I'm working with Business Station for Digital Solution Program. If I don't have that white space, I don't feel that I've given my clients the best services I can. So I definitely recommend it will help me to have my white space. And it gives you freedom and flexibility to focus on the thing that will really move your business forward, because we do need to bring clients in. We need to look after our clients. We need to look after our staff. So it depends where you are in business. It definitely gives you that focus on flexibility. So my friends, I hope you're not asking the question of should I batch or shouldn't I batch. I hope you're asking the question of where else I can use this amazing idea, amazing secret that Neda is sharing with us. So I'm going to share some of the stuff that we started using and will recommend it to my clients that they use as well. So usually with writing, a lot of people struggle with writing, because writing is the biggest portion. We talk about content. Let's talk about content. Writing is the biggest portion and time-consuming thing when it comes to creating content: blog posts, emails, video script. You do podcasts, show notes, newsletters, we talk about, and social media posts. If you're doing lead magnet, writing is the biggest challenge. It always creates a lot of it requires a lot of effort, in my opinion, it does. So you can absolutely batch writing blogs. We're going to go through the content creation, your videos, if you want to do a script, your podcasts, your email newsletters. We're going to go through it. The next one, for example, is your videos. If you're doing video content for your website, your social media, you can batch that as well. Your podcasting. If you're doing training, for example, if you have groups or you do training or membership, you can absolutely batch that as well. And it's not just all of these ones. You can batch your daily emails. You can check your emails in the morning. I do exactly that. I've got different email addresses, so I only check in the morning and at night time. I don't check any other time. Customer service responses. If you have someone who can help you out, that's a different story. But if you are doing everything yourself, even attending to your customers with regards to the customer service, to be honest with you, most of us that I do with, they don't own an ER, emergency department. So majority of time we can get back to the customers on time. I think, Russell, you're in IT, maybe that sort of, in some customers, this gets really close to emergency department, but you can absolutely batch those. You can absolutely batch your bookkeeping, your social media engagement. One of the things that I always tell people, business owners, you must engage with your audience. And they say, but Neda, I don't have time. Before I know it, I don't have time to go and answer everyone's question. Make time, batch those time. You can tell yourself, lunchtime, 12 o'clock, 12 to 12:15. I'm going to go through all the messages I make and engage with my audience. Client meeting, you can, again, comes back to the willpower. But clients meeting, group or individual coaching session. And as I was telling you about my coaching sessions, like creating post graphics, you don't have to, you create your content and you put a time aside and you create graphic for it. We talked about context switching. We don't want to switch tasks. Even scheduling your social media, you can do that. Your website content upgrade. So there you go, my friend. It's really important to realize that you can absolutely use this not just for creating content. You can even do with so many things in on your day-to-day tasks. All right. I know we're here to talk about how to create content. So the content that I'm talking about, the step, we're talking about this is about your core with regards to the core services you provide. So the content we're talking about, the long form content I'm talking about, it's about your core services. At the end, I'm going to go through that 100 post ideas, which you can diversify and use to add to what I'm discussing here. We don't just want to talk about our services and business. We want to make sure, again, we diversify, use different, for example, quotes, and so many other things that I'm going to go through. So we go through 7 steps, and this is what I recommend for you to consider as well. Again, you can change the step, you can add to it or take it, but for us, the 7-step works. Step number 1, we do content planning. Then we do content topic brainstorming and research. We do content outline, content delegation, content creation, and repurposing. I always put these 2 together. It works well for me, and when we tested it, it works well. We definitely have a step to review and edit. We absolutely have to do that. And then another step, schedule. Every step, it's the batching on its own. So let me go through it. So the first thing we have to do is, it's the content planning. Just want to quickly go through something. So before we go through these 7 steps, I want you to decide on how we start with the long form content. You might come and say, I'm very comfortable in writing blog posts. You might come and say, I'm very comfortable, I want to do videos, or I'm starting a podcast, or I'm doing a podcast. So we start around your core services and product. We decide what is the long form you're comfortable to do. You might have someone who can write the blog post for you, and you might be comfortable with the blog post, or you might say, I'm actually comfortable with videos. So decide which one. Doesn't matter which one. At the end of the day, this is something that you have to do. So let's say that we've decided this is exactly what I do in my business. So I have decided that I want to write blog posts. And the reason I do that is because I can repurpose it. I can use it for video as well. And also it will help me with the SEO. But this is all up to you. If you're comfortable with video, stick with video. But I'm talking about sharing with you my core content. And we decided that we're going to do blog posts. Step number 1, again, this is a batching on its own. It's only 2 hours that we do. Planning is the key. Always have to plan. So number 1 in the planning stage, and also when I say 2 hours, you cannot take more than 2 hours. You've got to give yourself 2 hours, and you have to tell yourself at the end of that 2 hours, the planning is completed. It's 2 hours. It's not 2 hours tomorrow. It's not 4 hours. It's 2 hours maximum. You will get better at it, actually. So we decide how many blog posts, videos, podcasts. Let's say blog posts. I want to do 4. Let's say between 4 to 6. I don't want anything more than 6. If you have resources and you can plan, then absolutely fine. Do 6 or 7 or 8. But 4 to 6 is a safer way, just in case if you need to repurpose, if something happens. But 4 to 6, definitely 4 when you're starting it. Let's say we decided we're going to do 6 blog posts for the next 6 weeks. So we decided. So then I have a little checklist that we go through. Is there any sales or promotion coming up? So hopefully as a business owner, you do have a promotion calendar. It doesn't have to be with the product base. You can be a service base, and you can decide every 3 months we're going to be aggressive and advertise for our services. So if that 4 to 6 weeks of content sit around the end of the quarter when you do advertising, then you have to consider that. So let's say we're going to go for 6 blog posts for the next 6 weeks. We check the promotional calendar and we don't have any promotion coming up. Next thing I check is I always check if there is an event coming up. Is there any event that has anything to do with my industry? Is there any event relates to my audiences? Is there any special day? Am I invited to speak? Or so this is again a checklist. Is there any event? And so there is no event. There's nothing coming up. Go with that's right. Any holidays or vacations? Again, is there any special day coming up? Am I going on holiday? Am I going to attend, which I haven't done that for the past 2 or 3 years. I haven't attended any seminar. We weren't allowed to in WA, we weren't allowed to go anywhere. We were allowed to go somewhere, actually. We weren't allowed to come back. So, so let's say there is a vacation coming up and I'm going somewhere and there's this, and it's something that I can share with my audience that's going to build my brand awareness. So we consider all of that in our planning. Let's say I'm not going anywhere since I haven't done it, I couldn't go anywhere. There's no event coming up, and we decided, okay, so let's just stick to the 6 blog posts. We decided 6 blog posts, this is what we're going to do. When we decided on the 6, now we need to do brainstorming and research for the topic. So I want you, again, set aside, again, it's a batching, set aside maximum 2 hours to come up with the content topic and flesh them out of it. So what I would always suggest to do, again, it needs to align with your products or service. It needs to complement your core products or services. So it's content that's going to provide value to your audience and make you the small business that they trust to do business with. So what we're discussing is about your core products or services. So we flesh them out. You might actually say, so what I have is I actually have a spreadsheet that I put everything. I've got let's back. So on my phone, I do have a note that everything that comes up, even when I'm driving, I will always ask Siri to take note. I've got a content dump idea. So if I read anything, if I'm driving, if anything comes up and I think this is something that my audience needs to know, or for example, Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, they come up with something new, and I go, this is actually something I should share. Or people ask me, for example, the one we're working on that is finished is, how much should I spend on Facebook ads? That to me is lots of people asking, maybe they need some clarification about that. So then I put it on my phone. Then at the end of the night, I actually got a spreadsheet that was helping me. I love spreadsheets. I'll show you at the end of the session. So it's helped me so much because, again, it gave me a system. And now that I've got people actually helping me out to create a content, it helps them as well because everything is in front of them and they see what's going on in my head. We go through that spreadsheet and we'll figure it out. You might actually say, okay, so, but I don't have any ideas at the moment. I'm just starting out. I don't know what to do. So I'm going to show you something. I'm going to share some methods that you can absolutely use to start. At the end of this method that I'm going to share with you, even if you come up with one topic, that is good enough. That is a good start for you to begin the process. Just, I've got to let you know, be patient with yourself when you're starting, because what I have here, it's probably 4 or 5 years work. So it didn't happen overnight. I needed to have some sort of system. Otherwise, I was just moving everywhere and I was just distracted and dragged everywhere. So I have to come up with a system, and the system works. So, topic search method. So number one, it's the brain dump. This is the easiest part you can do. I want you to give yourself 10 minutes. Grab a pen and a piece of paper. You can use a laptop if you're comfortable, but there's something about grabbing a pen and writing it down on a piece of paper. Most of us, we are here in our business, and we have, if you're brand new and you think, I don't know, or if you're brand new and you say, don't know, I always recommend there's always an experience behind you. Even if you started 3 months ago, 2 months ago, a year ago, you had all that experience before you got to that moment of starting your business. There were so many questions wherever you were working. There were so many questions customers were asking. Some of you are in this business because you found a gap in the business, or there was something that you thought, I can actually provide that service to my customers. Most of the time, I can look after them better. So I want you to sit down, put a timer on for 10 minutes, and start writing. What I want you to think about, we're going to put down words, maybe phrases, question that they may have. Around your core products and service, there are so many questions that people have. If you are already in business, if you sit down and go, okay, come up with all the questions that people are asking me, just start writing. I don't want you to check to see if I'm writing correctly, if there's a spelling mistake, none of those. For 10 minutes, just write. Like I said, phrases, question, anything that comes up, I want you to dump it out on that piece of paper. So that's number one. And then you can use that. If you might look at it and go, wow, I've got about 5 or 6 ideas that I can write about around my core business. So that could be it. Next one, ask your audience. There is a Survey Monkey. If you already have a clients, Survey Monkey, Google Form, you can use that. Create 2 questions, very simple. With regards to this, what would you like to know more? Or what are your challenges when it comes to this? What information you wish you knew before you do this? You can absolutely do that. Ask your audience what they want to know. They're the best source of information as to what they need to know. The next one you can do is content theming. So when we come to the content theming, I don't know if you remember the planning stage, I said, see in your promotional calendar if there is any promotion coming up. Then what I want you to do is I want you to create the content, theme it around what you're doing. There is a lot of, for example, for gym owners, if you're a personal trainer, there has to be something, I think it's a September or spring body or something, or lose the weight by the end of the winter. So you theme it around there. One of the things I can think of, like from Russell's business, there are so many things that, I don't know, when it comes to the end of certain products to do with IT, to do with softwares, you can absolutely write. There is, I think we talked about network. We discussed about network and where you're going to take the business. You can theme it around there. So there's so much you can absolutely do. The next one is your previous content. If you have already creating content on blog posts, this is obviously for people who are actually creating consistent content. So if you can go to your previous content and see which one generated more engagement, which one generated more conversation. I'm not saying just reuse it and grab it and post it again. I want you to dig in deeper. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you thought actually there's something changed in that. I can actually dig in deeper, or I can expand. You can always use that as well. Last one, ask Google. I'm going to show you something else as well. There are other platforms. There's another one called Ask the Public. So Google, again, is the best source of information. There are so many things you can type, and then Google will tell you as to how. Let's see what time it is. I might be able to. I definitely go through it at the end. So I'm just going to quickly go through the Google when we get to the end of it. So you can absolutely do that. You can ask Google, and Google will tell you what other searches the clients have done, what other people are searching. So I'll go through it as well. Another one is ask your public, answer the public. Also, one thing I forgot to say is your Facebook group. If you know there's a Facebook group that has your audience in there, absolutely hang out there and see in the search section of the Facebook group, see what people are asking. Put your keyword or keyword phrase in there and see what questions people are asking, who they're looking for, what they're looking for. But just be mindful of when you're in a Facebook group, just be mindful of group rules. We need to be respectful of the owner of the group always. Okay, so now, let's say we found out, okay, now I've got the topic. Again, I have to tell you, if you're starting out and you only have one topic, that's fantastic. You've done it. This is really good. It's just a practice. You get better at it. So now that we've got the main topic, we want to create an outline. So this is, again, it's a batching session on its own. So what I would like you to do is I would like you to sit down and create an outline. I was really bad at writing English. Well, English is my second language, so I was really bad at writing. And I remember my English teacher said, just do an outline and then fill out underneath it. And I thought, oh, that's actually good. So I used to do dot points, but you can do however you're comfortable with. But you can absolutely create an outline. Again, this steps can be a batching as well. So what you do is, so after obviously we decided on the final topic, which are you happy with, you put a time together to outline before you start the process of creating the actual content. Okay, so that's step 3. The next step, which is a delegation step, this is if you have people who write it for you. So I didn't have that before, now I do. The outline definitely helped my copywriter to see what's on my mind. Obviously, she sort of know how I talk and how I do it, but it definitely helps to have an outline because then she knows what we're working on. And it's exactly the same as what my English teacher told me. In order for me to write, I wrote an outline, and definitely helps. So step 4 is a delegation. If you don't have anyone to do it, just skip this step. If you have people who help you out with regards to the writing, this is the time to go and hand it over to them. Even with the graphic to create a graphic, you can absolutely give it to them, because the outline and the topic will give your graphic designer or the person who helps you with the graphic to give you an idea. However, if you don't and you're the one doing the writing, then it's time to write your content. So I always like to, this is probably the longest time when you're creating content, because we're sitting down and writing. I always want to repurpose exactly the same time as I'm writing the content. So what I mean by repurposing is, what you do is you recycle the content you have. And it's such a great, easy way for you to create a content week after week. What we do is, this is what I say, create a long form. Then from that long form, go through it, because as you're writing it, you're ready then. Rather than leave it and come back, you might have to reread it, because remember, we're going to be productive. So as you're writing it and you finish that long form, before reviewing everything, you might go through it and go, oh, there's a quote. I can take these sections out and make it into the post. Out of, for example, my 300 word, 800 word, I can take bits and pieces out of it and make it into 6 or 7 posts. Then there are some quotes. From this, there are some quotes come to mind that I can actually use that. If in your writing or what you're writing, there's some list or stat, you can absolutely use that. Another thing I would suggest to do is, you know that email marketing that you say, I don't know what to write and I don't know what to send, repurpose that and make it into the email, that conversational email that you have with your audience. There, from one long form of blog post, you can get 3 or 4 posts. You can even do short videos for these posts. You can do long videos, and then you can divide it into short videos. You can create your social media posts, and the best thing is you can do your newsletters as well. So if you are you go, actually, Neda, what if I decided to do video instead? What if I decided I want to do podcasting instead? That's absolutely fine. You write the outline, you record your video, which is the creation part of it. You record with your video. Then you get people who transcribe your video to create a blog post. Then from there, you can, or you can get someone to shorten and make your long video into the little snippet of videos. You can use that, again, the video into the blog post. I think I said that. And then use that again to create a newsletter. So you can absolutely repurpose all of your products. You do not have to recreate. Again, I'm talking about, you don't have to create more content. I'm talking about your core products, though. Like, we'll talk about other stuff that you might need to post, because it's social platforms. We're not there to do, it's not a pitching platform. So, okay, so we've done that. We repurpose, we're written. Then we're going to walk away and come back again, because we must review it. Even if someone else writing it, even if the best copywriter in the world is writing your copy, I want you to read it, and I want you to review it, and I want you to decide, is this representing my business or not? I always do that. In some cases, like last month, I'm going back to and forward for the past 2 months, because I want this writing to represent me. I want this content to represent who I am and what my business stands for. So take your time, because it's very important. And we have a rule in the business that unless the customer is 100% happy with the content, even with our social media content creation and post, we will not publish anything. So now you reviewed it, you edited it, and you're happy with it. We're going to schedule it. So you can schedule your blog content, you can schedule your social media posts, you can schedule your emails, your videos, your membership videos, everything can be scheduled. And this alone is a batching on its own. Everything is done. So you, for the next 4 to 6 weeks, you don't have to think about anything. And there are people on the other side who go, how does this person do it? Create original content over and over. This person must be an authority in the field. If I need help, I need to talk to this person. You must go and talk to this person. All right, my friend. So there it is. That's the last of creating content. I've got some time, which I want to share something. So do we have any questions? I want to share some stuff with you. Kylie and Russell, I hope. How are you going? Do you have any questions? I'm going to share some other stuff, but do you have any questions? No? Okay. Not oh, good. Okay, not a problem. Thanks. Okay, perfect. All right. So I'm going to share. So let's say we created all this content. What was I going to do? Okay, let's go to Google first. So I'm going to show you. Some of you might be aware how to actually use Google to come up with ideas. One of the things you can look for is answer the public. So answer the public is, it sort of uses all the Google information. You don't, there is a pro version of it and everything. I think you can only search about 2 to 3 times a day. So what I would suggest you do is, I love this graphic. So see how this is what people are asking about. Let's say you're, tried mindfulness. Let's do kids mindfulness. Actually, let's do chocolate. So let's say you are selling chocolate with something to do with the chocolate. So what you do is when you put chocolate in there and you press search, it gives you everything and all the things that people search for. For example, 80 questions. So how chocolate is made. I know that might sound silly, but these are the things that you can absolutely communicate with your audience. No, go away. Cheeky, where is it? Here. So other things, where chocolate may come from. Did you know that white chocolate is actually not chocolate? Anyway, not that important. I like dark chocolate. But so this is what you can do. You can put your word in there, that your keyword, key phrases in there, and answer the public will give you everything that people are actually searched for. Anything you can think of, you can put on it. The easiest way, another easiest way to use your Google. For example, let's say, what did I do? Let's see, what did we ask? What their laptop? Okay, so this is what we actually did the search yesterday with regards to the client who's selling laptops. It's actually selling all the PCs and computers and IT stuff. So what we decided to do is how to find out how we can use, for example, how to use Google to find out more topics. So if you search in there, it will tell you other searches that people have done. So if you are selling Dell, like he sells Dell, computer product, but Dell was one of them. So we'll try with Dell and see what it comes up. So all of these is people are asking the question. So this is how you can find out. If you come down here, it says people also ask, do Dell docking stations and all of that. You can also come down here where it says other searches, other feedbacks, just in case you missed it. So this is, again, you can find out with your own product. Let's say the other clients I have is try kids mindfulness. Okay, so kids mindfulness, meditation, music, activities. So if you have kids mindfulness, usually the ones when it's ads, what comes up first. Then you always have, remembering that Microsoft owns Google and YouTube and LinkedIn. So YouTube usually comes up as well. You can absolutely check that. But then when you come down here, see how people also ask. So if the client, what is mindfulness for kids? So in order for you to create, like if you were, this is something that you can come up with. Okay, so this is what people are asking. I can create a content to explain how I see that mindfulness of the kids. What is a mindfulness for kids? You're not repeating anything because no one's experience is similar to yours. No one has the same experience that I had through my career. No one had experience that Russell had. Kylie, you had. Neither of us are exactly the same. So when we're rewriting something, or when you're writing something, when you're answering a question, your client's question, you're answering it from your own experiences. So it's never going to be the same. But this is where you can find all the information. Let's come down here. It says mindfulness for toddlers, teaching mindfulness in the classroom. So this could be some teachers might want to might want to find out. So this absolutely you can use Google for your advantage. All right. So another thing I was going to share. So you're going to get, so let's create a content around our products and services. You got to remember we need to diversify, and what happens, so we always say promote your content 15 to 25% of the time out of that 100%. The only time we get to 25% or 30%, it's when we come to that promotional calendar. For example, next month we're going to do advertising. That's when we actually go aggressive, creating leads in, and then we'll slow down and start in 2 months' time again. That's the only time we promote, we go all the way to 25%. However, with everything we create, it's around our business. We want to show ourselves, we want to be the experts in our field, which we create content around our core business. However, with the other stuff, we need to make sure that this is a social platform. We need to keep it social. There's human on the other side, and they do not come to social in order for them to buy anything. They're there to, I always say, stalk the friends that they don't want to see, hang out with the family, see what's happening, hang out with friends and see what's happening with their friends, and also find out about businesses they love. So you can absolutely use this. There's some unique photos and videos. This is a curated 100 post curated based on what we worked with other businesses. This might not apply to your business, but surely as post ideas, you can get 20 or 25. That definitely applies to your business. Daily hashtags, they work really well. Excuse me. As a business, your favorite things, you got to remember, we want to know the human behind the business. We have a faceless business no longer be able to exist. Uplifting, inspirational quotes works really well. Share the love, share Richard, yeah, and they're happy for you to mention. If you have followers who actually connecting with you all the time, that's something. It depends on your business. The cause you support, this is really, really good to share what your business is part of. Get personal with yourself. Just share fun facts. It could be yours or the staff member you have. Ask a question. This is the best form of engagement that you can use, because as humans, we're very good at judging and giving our opinion. So they really, really love to give you their opinion. Usually, ask a question works when you have an engaged audience. When you're starting out, you might actually get crickets, and that's absolutely fine. Keep going. Don't give up. You will receive with the recording. So just see how it goes. You don't have to use 100 if you're not comfortable with some of the personal stuff. It's absolutely fine, but definitely use that. This is just to inspire you and give you the inspiration. Okay. All right. That's all about it. We are at the end of our little training together. So I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to come back here and see if you have any questions. Any questions? Right. I hope you're not sleeping. All right. I'm hoping that you enjoyed this, and I'm hoping you can hear me. So Russell and Kylie, if you don't have any questions, okay, that's okay. I sort of get it. I sort of thought it's probably coming towards the end of the day. That's all good. It's all right. If you don't have any questions, we're going to catch up anyway soon, you and I. But Kylie, do you have any questions? Okay, not a problem. All right, I'm going to let you go. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and thanks for being with me for an hour. And you never know, I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Bye, Russell. Definitely, we'll talk soon. We'll see you soon.